Um, Hi, you guys. Hi. I'm pretty sure that we are live right now. Yes. Okay. So, welcome. I'm so sorry about the late notice on this team call. There's just been a lot. And so I'm really excited. I'm really excited, and I'm glad this is going to be recorded because this is a really important topic, okay? Unique has grown so much and is so global at this point, okay? We're in it's going to be 7 different markets come 2016. And even if you're sitting there thinking right now, I could never have an international team, you never know. Okay, you never know. I never thought I would have an international team, and yet here I am. And so it's so important you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be an expert yet. You just have to know some general things. And then when you get your first international team member, when you're working with your first international customers, you have to learn to adapt and grow. Lord knows I have had to learn and adapt a lot of things. We are not perfect, but it's important to be mindful of stuff. So we have Green Status Chelsea Carey here. She's going to be talking about international customers and doing your business, working your business in an international market. And Blue Status Erica Warner, who is down in Australia, who is going to be talking about international team members and how to best integrate and work with and help them along, how to help your international customers. It's a huge deal. It's an important thing. I'm so excited for what they have to say. This is recorded, and so if you have to leave for any reason or whatever, that's okay. We are going to, you'll be emailed the replay link, first of all, and second of all, I'll post the replay tomorrow. So there's that. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand it right on over to Chelsea. Yeah, all right, I'm going to present you to everyone, and I'm going to, hold on, you're still muted, hold on. How do I unmute you? Chelsea, still muted. Hold on. No, wait. Hold on. Technical difficulties, guys. My bad.
I think you can unmute yourself.
Ooh, yes. Thank you. You can unmute yourself, Chelsea. Thank you, Erica. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yay! All right. Cool. So hi, I'm Chelsea Carey, and this is my crazy kiddo. He's going to chill with us because he won't go to sleep. And I actually started my unique business. I actually started my unique business when I got to Germany while I was living there, and I'm still kind of living sort of in between Germany and the U.S. And so a lot of my first customers were either Germans married to Americans or German nationals. And I learned very quickly that Germans do not do things the same way Americans do. And they were not all about the, oh, well, we'll order it online and we hope that we love it. Oh, my kids are being crazy. So I had to learn a lot about the buying culture of the country I was living in. And then I suddenly, off of one connection, had customers in Canada and New Zealand and then Mexico. And so I realized that not only are things different between America and Germany, but they're different for every single market. And so I had to quickly learn how to market myself and my product in several different countries all at once. And I will tell you the biggest thing that I learned was you have to know the culture. You have to know the culture. You have to know more than just, what are their favorite foods and what time are they buying every day. You have to know what are their buying habits. Where are they buying? Are they buying in store? Oh, no. Look at yourself. Are they buying in-home? Are they buying online? What are their online buying habits? And at least for Germany, they wanted to see and touch the products first. And so a lot of my German friends that were married to American soldiers were not interested at all from buying in my online parties. And it wasn't until I had a home party where they could see and touch the product did they actually get hooked on the product, so to speak. I found that New Zealand was completely the opposite. My friends in New Zealand were buying online, and they had very similar buying habits to Americans. Whereas in Canada, again, they wanted to see and touch the product. Sorry.
No, don't worry. Do you really quickly, is there any chance, do you want to switch and let Erica go and you can get him settled? Would that be help? It's totally fine. I just want you to be able to do what you do. I'm there with you, sister. I was there all day, man.
Let's let Erica go in first, and I'll try and get him settled, and I will be right back.
You are great. Don't even worry about it. You're wonderful. Oh, wait, Erica, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, we're all good. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi from the other side of the world. Yay! My name's Erica Warner, and I am Blue Status with Unique, and I was Lauren's number one international presenter. We met off Twitter because we were both pregnant with our babies, and so we connected way before Unique ever started. But then I started seeing her sell her thing, do her thing, and I got sucked in. The mascara, man, the foundation, and I joined, and I have not looked back. And I have absolutely adored being part of Lauren's team, not only because she's just an amazing person in general, but also because I guess I've taught her a thing or two about being part of an international team. And I've been given the opportunity to grow in that area as well and become kind of her go-to kind of girl for all that international stuff, especially when it has to do with my own market, which is Australia and New Zealand. So what I want to do today is I want to just give you guys a few simple suggestions on what you really need to think about when you have an international team, because you guys, at first, Lauren and I, it was like we don't really know how to work with each other because the cultures were different. And you'd think Australia and America, nah, we're the same, right? No, we're different. And there's a number of things that make us different, but also it's a cool thing to be different, right? So let's talk about the first thing, which is communication. And shout out to Lauren, because you do this incredibly. I have been, my regular job, I work internationally. I work within a region, within the Asia-Pacific region, so I'm conscious of time zones between India and New Zealand, which is about a 6-hour time gap. And it's, even with that small time gap, I still find that people don't think about time zones, and they can schedule things that do not fit with other people's schedules. But Lauren has this in mind, and she makes sure that team calls are scheduled at a time that suits most people. However, if you can't do that for whatever reason, then I really recommend that you try and include your team members in different countries as much as possible, because even though we may not be able to attend every single meeting because it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's really nice if once in a while you try and schedule a time which is not so convenient for most of your team, but really, really convenient for those people that you don't include as much in your regular team calls. So if you have your team call at 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, maybe a few of your unique sisters in America aren't going to be able to make it because it's literally smack bang in the middle of their getting ready for work, school, kids, whatever. But it means that over the other side of the world, it is a convenient time. And it makes us feel more included. It makes us feel like we are a part of the team and we are thought about. And I think that's the biggest thing about having an international team, is recognizing that there are other cultures, that there are other time zones, that there are other ways of doing things that may not be what you're used to, but may actually help benefit the entire team and may allow you to work better with other cultures and other teams around the world. Because let me tell you, if you want to go black, if you want to be a Black Status presenter, you will have team members across the world. No doubt. You cannot be a Black status presenter without having team members from just your country. It just doesn't work like that. Unique is a global company now. We are a global company. We have countries across the world. So you're going to have to get used to having international team members in your team. So communicate frequently and regularly. And like I said, Lauren does a stellar job of this. It's the morning mess. I listen to morning mess before I go to sleep each night. Before I go to bed. Lauren's voice is the last thing I hear. But this is a really cool thing for me because I get pumped up and I have ideas in my head, and while sometimes I can't sleep very well, it's a great thing to fall asleep to. It gives me, you know, a bit of motivation at the end of the day and plan my day out for the next day. So Lauren, well done on the communication. You do an amazing job. Be mindful and acknowledge the cultural differences. So for example, it's summer here, it's spring here right now. We are not falling into fall. We are not celebrating all the leaves and the color changes and the PSL, hashtag PSL, all that stuff. We don't do that at the same time you do, right? So you need to be aware of that. Don't hold a Halloween party for someone in Australia. Don't celebrate Halloween with a customer in Australia. Or if you've got Australian presenters on your team or New Zealand presenters, you know, Halloween's not going to be a big thing for us. We don't celebrate it. We don't do it. It's very rare to see little people in costumes walking around our streets. We just don't do it. So it's not gonna be a big deal for us, Halloween. So just be mindful of those little tiny, you know, differences in our culture that actually do make a really big deal to the way we run our business over the other side of the world. The other big thing is be mindful of time. Like I said before, if you have a team call and it's constantly scheduled at a time where your international team members cannot make it, you may find that interaction drops off a little bit. You want to include your team members from everywhere as much as possible. So scheduling calls at a time where it may not be so convenient for you, but maybe more convenient for your international presenters, will make them feel more included and more inclined to attend. Okay, you could also consider a separate call for those people over the other side of the world, and that I feel, you know, gives the international team or those presenters that you have internationally a sense of belonging, that you are thinking about them and not just focusing on your local presenter market. And also think about the time in terms of parties that you're scheduling for your customers as well. And I'm sure Chelsea will touch on that as well, but I find that Postcron and the Post My Party link, you know, scheduling apps where you can schedule party posts are brilliant for working your international customers' parties. They really are absolutely brilliant. I also make sure I have local documents with local prices. You must know your local customs and regulations for any presenter that you have in any other of your markets. And an example of this, and this only was brought to my attention the other day when I was doing a party for a person in New Zealand, was that New Zealand customers can only purchase up to 280 New Zealand dollars a day from Unique. The Skin in the Game collection is 330 New Zealand dollars, which essentially means that New Zealand customers cannot purchase the Skin in the Game collection. I didn't know this, and I went back and I had a look at the customs and I spoke to support, and they basically said, yeah, they cannot purchase this collection, which seems absolutely crazy to me, but it's a really important issue. You need to know about customs, about the regulations, things like the NFR policy. It's still in place in Australia and New Zealand. We cannot sell cash and carry here. Do not encourage Australian and New Zealand presenters to go out and buy cash and carry, because we are not allowed to do this. Really, really important that you know the business aspects of running Unique as a business in the international markets. And the final thing I wanted to say is, I think, and Lauren, you did this really well as well, is to delegate to your international team members. I feel like I have really paved the way in terms of the international, I guess, presenter group here in Team Courage. I feel like I'm the go-to person for a lot of things, and it's made me feel empowered. So if you have international team members and you do not know about their market, their culture, their customs, ask them. Get them to work for you, because I guarantee you they will feel empowered, they will feel so excited to be able to do this for you, and you will get so much out of it as well. So that's pretty much all I had. Thank you so much for allowing me to present today.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you. Before I put Chelsea on, I think I'm still presenting you. Hold on one second. I'm presenting you, Erica. Before I put Chelsea on again, I just super quickly wanted to reiterate some of the things that Erica was saying. When we are talking about working with an international team, inclusivity is key. You want them to feel like they're a part of something, and they are on the other side of the world, or in a totally different hemisphere from us, which means they're in a different season. Everything is different, and so you have to think about how to include them. So what she was talking about with the fall thing, I want to stress this, it's fall here, and obviously on your personal page you're going to talk about fall in the United States and all that stuff, but when we're working with an international presenter who might be in Australia or New Zealand and you're brainstorming, you don't want to just brainstorm fall ideas because it's also spring. You want to include that. That is a really important thing that I just wanted to reiterate. And I love what she said also about designating to your team members. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know about Australia and Germany and all these different markets. And so you have to build up and empower your team members to step up and lead. And you also have to take the initiative to learn, like reading the international presenters document and all that sort of stuff. Do you have to know every single in and out, every single exchange rate? Not necessarily right off the top of your head, unless you're working a party for them, and then yeah, you probably maybe want to know like what's happening. But yeah, important to include those things. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Chelsea, who seems to be ready over there. So hold on one second, Chelsea. I'm gonna present you, and you're gonna want to unmute yourself because apparently I can mute you, but I can't unmute you, which is weird. All right.
Yay. Okay. So hopefully hopefully he's gonna chill out now. So Erica touched on it a little bit, and that's when you're presenting a party, which is ultimately you're gaining those customers through that party. You want to know what their buying habits are, and also how much they can buy from Younique, because Younique does there are certain caps on how much you can buy. For instance, I think it was like 3,000 for Mexico, and in whatever, in their currency. So you want to be sure that if you are presenting a party, you don't say, like Eric had mentioned for New Zealand, you don't want to say, oh, get a skin in the game collection. They can't buy that. And so we are careful not to even, I'm careful not to even present those things. There are some countries that have absolutely no levels that they can only get to. Like you can only sell this much amount to them. There's no set amounts for some countries, but there are for several, and a lot of that goes with the NFR, the not for resale, that Erica was talking about. Those countries that can't do cash and carry are typically the countries that are going to have limits set on them for how much they can order. I had talked a little bit before. This is just my night, guys. I talked a little bit about how much we have to know people's buying habits. And so, are they buying online? Are they not buying online? Are they more apt to buy once they felt and touched something? And that is so very important. If we don't know those things, if we don't know those basic buying habits, then we're going to present a party that is absolutely not successful whatsoever. And it's not because we didn't present a great party, but it's because we didn't present a party in a way that was going to be interesting or pique an interest for that particular country. So in Germany, in-home parties are really successful, whereas online parties don't do quite as well. That's not to say an online party wouldn't do well. It's just to say that you may have to push our Love It guarantee a little bit more for a group of Germans and let them know, hey, if you order this, you can always send it back if you don't love it after you've touched it and felt it. And that's, I found, been really important when presenting, at least to the German market and a couple of the other markets that I've presented to. Also know what their spending habits are like. So the German market is a lot more likely to buy high-end makeup. They love high-end mascaras. However, in Mexico, we've seen that they're not as likely to spend a lot of money on a big collection. However, they'll buy an eyeliner, or they'll buy a lipstick, or they'll buy a lip gloss, a couple of mineral pigments. And so know their spending habits as well, because then you're not pushing a product or collection that you know they're not going to buy. That makes a lot of, if you present to the Mexican market the Uplift Serum before you present anything else, then suddenly everything in our catalog becomes something that they can't afford. And we don't want to do that. We have a lot of really great options that just about anybody with any budget can afford, and you really have to learn the budgets and the spending habits of the country you're presenting to in order to know that. It's not hard to find that out, and you can Google that stuff, and you'll find tons of graphs that come up, tons of information that comes up. But really the best thing that you can do is reach out to your customer and ask them questions. So how much are you looking to spend? Do you usually, what is the cost of the mascara that you're usually buying? What do you usually spend on skincare every month? Find out from them by asking questions, and you have a lot more chance to be sensitive to their buying habits than you would, and their spending habits than you would if you just went in completely unknowledgeable. One of the things that I have also noticed is that if you are presenting a party for a customer in Germany, it's probably best to present products first, and if you want to end with the opportunity, you can do that. But always end with the opportunity if you're going to Germany, because they are not going to sell something they haven't tried. If you're presenting to Mexico, you might want to open your party with the opportunity first, and because they're really interested in new ways to make money for their families, more ways to contribute financially. And so opening your party with talking about the opportunity and the fact that our kit is essentially a product in and of itself is a really great way to start a party in Mexico. And then leading into building off of that. So, you're getting a palette in the kit for $99, and this is how much a palette is going to cost if you buy it off of the website. Knowing what these people are looking for, in a product as well as in an opportunity, it's going to maximize your chance not only to sell more, but also to open your doors up to build your own international team, because you're going to know when to present what products, whether that is presenting the opportunity or presenting the products themselves. And also know what they're buying. So we know that German women love mascara. And they're known to spend a good amount of money on a mascara over any other makeup product. And so I'm going to really focus my parties on the mascara because I know that that's what they're looking for. However, we've actually seen, at least myself, that my Mexican customers are more apt to buy lip products. And I don't know why that is. I don't have any statistics to back it up, but that's what I've seen in my own buying, selling habits. And so in a party that's primarily for my Mexican market, I'm going to present the lip products because I found that they sell really well, and that's what those women are apt to buy more often. And maybe it's the price point, or maybe it's just that they love lip products there, but that's what I found. So try and do a little bit of research and find out what they're buying the most of. Are they focusing more on skincare? Are they focusing more on mascara? That way you can gear your party towards the customer base that you are presenting to. And then finally, Erica touched on it a little bit, but know the culture. Don't have a Halloween party for an Australian customer. Don't do a traditional sort of. I'm trying to think. don't do a Columbus Day party or a Columbus Day sale for your German market. Know what we celebrate and what other people don't celebrate. We celebrate the 4th of July. If you throw a 4th of July summer bash for a market that you know is going to be mixed, you're not going to have a very good reception for that. We're the only people in the world that celebrate our birthday. So know who you're presenting to and make sure your theme isn't stepping over any cultural diversity boundaries or lines. You want to be culturally sensitive, and you want to make sure that if you want to build an international market and an international team, that you know that they celebrate different holidays. Their seasons may be flip-flopped from ours depending on where they are in the world. Germans don't work on Sundays. They don't work at all on Sundays. They will purchase on Sundays, but chances are they're not going to interact in your party on a Sunday because they're out with their families. So whereas for us in America, posting on Sundays, that's where most of our stuff gets seen. Posting in Germany in a German party on a Sunday, nothing's going to get seen. So you want to focus your time on a different day. And then posting at the right times, of course, is really important. Know your time zone that you're in, and know that you know it's 9:30 here, but you know Germany is 6 hours ahead of us. So if I post right now at a party for Germany, it's going to be not seen at all. So that is super important. I don't know if Erica, I was soothing a crazy baby, but I don't know if she touched on it or not. Don't Google Translate. Just don't do it. Do not Google Translate. Don't Google Translate in Spanish. Don't Google Translate in German. It always spells something wrong. The German, especially German grammar is so insane that if you Google Translate just English to German, it's going to leave out a lot of stuff. And a lot of the banners and things that we've been seeing in Germany are so very wrong that they look like spam. And so if you're trying to present a language that's not yours natively, either learn the language and get some Rosetta Stone, or get somebody on your team that knows the language and have them send you graphics that they've personally made and they know for a fact is spelled right, the grammar is right, because you don't want to come off as spammy, and we're fighting that right now in Germany. A lot of information is written in German, but I don't know what language it's written in. Google Translate language. That's what language it's written in. It's awful. Don't do it. So if you need help, at least translating anything in German or Spanish, we have ladies on my team that can do it, and I know they'd be happy to help you. So just don't put anything out there and you have no clue what it says, because we want to sell mascara. We don't want to sell like rabbits or something. So that's it. That's what I've got.
It's so good, Chelsea. Thank you. I'm gonna mute you, and I'm gonna present myself. It's so weird trying to navigate. Guys, these are amazing points. And as y'all were talking, I had like little things lighting up in my brain that was like, ooh, mention that. And then as soon as I'm presenting myself, of course, I can't remember any of them. The bottom line is that you have to be willing to learn. That is like the underlying theme amongst all of it. Because guess what? The way you show up today is not necessarily somebody who is ready to take on an international market or an international team member. But you are, if you're willing to learn. If you're willing to say, okay, I have a German who wants me to do a party for her. You can say yes to that party. Just be willing to put in the extra effort to accommodate, to post at the right times, to kind of feel out the way they are. Like she said, there's a lot of good tidbits in there about Germany and Australia specifically. Like, I did not know Germans don't do things on Sundays. That's really useful, right? I was actually going to ask if Australians celebrate Halloween on that status of mine, Erica, and I didn't because, like, dang it, I was like, Erica's going to be like, oh, come on, Lauren, learn some things about Australia. And so I didn't. So I'm really glad you said that, because now I know. And you just, you have to be open-minded. You have to be willing to learn. And the thing about language, I want to say super quickly, one really great suggestion I've heard is if you have a university nearby you or a high school that has these languages taught there, you can go, and especially universities, college students, they're always looking for ways to make more money. You can ask a college student, hey, I'll pay you, you know, $20 to translate these few phrases for me. And then you have those few phrases and you can put them on graphics and whatever, and you know they're going to be correct if you go to like the upper level languages in university. Don't go to a level 1 of any language. Just going to throw that out there. So it's important. Simultaneously, if you have somebody of that, like for instance, like I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm not thinking of a good example right now, but here's the thing. If you have somebody on your team who speaks the language, like if you have somebody on your team who speaks Spanish, if they're willing to help, that is awesome. That is awesome. But you want to make sure that you're not putting all of the pressure on them, right? Because they also have their own business and their own life to run. So if they're open to it, that is awesome. And totally, you know, work with them, and that's amazing. But also remember, you know, maybe that's not their jam. Maybe they don't want to be the designated, you know, go-to translator. It just, you have to feel them out and know what they want from it. At the end of the day, when it comes to dealing with your international markets and your international team members, you have to be open-minded and you have to be willing to learn, and you have to be willing to own that you don't know all the things. It's okay if you don't know all the things. You just have to be willing to say, oh, hey man, I screwed that up. I just wasn't even, I'm sorry. You have to be willing to own that and learn, because that's what this is. It's a learning process. Everything about what we do, whether it's dealing with an international market or simply running your own business in your own country, it's a learning process. We don't, the day we start is not who we are the day we hit black status. There's a lot of growth and a lot of learning and a lot of change and a lot of just a lot of things along the way that you have to take in. I hope that was super helpful. I know that Erica said a ton of things and Chelsea said a ton of things, and I really wish I could summarize them right here for you, but they both said so many useful things that I hope, you know, you wrote some things down. The replay to this is going to play. I just want to give Chelsea a big, big hug, you guys, because that was Ben. Ben has been like fussy, like I can't handle it, and so I'm like watching Chelsea and I'm like, oh, I just want to hug you. It's hard, but kudos to you for he's passed out now. Look at his face. Oh, you guys can't see his face. I can see his face. He's totally passed out. Anyway, thank you, Chelsea, for powering through. Thank you, Erica, for being on the call and sharing this. The replay is going to be posted. So much wisdom. Be willing to grow and learn and be flexible, and you'll be good. Guys, your month. It is your month, all right? I had a conversation with somebody today. I don't know who it was. I have a lot of conversations all day long. And it just, it is still your month. Even if you're feeling discouraged and kind of down today, it's still your month. You just sort of have to sort of give yourself some time, power through, and get to the other side, and you're going to be good. It is your month. All right, guys, have a super good night. I don't want to keep you any longer, or good morning if you're in Australia. And, yeah, all right, guys. Bye.